Scott believes that the ripple in the sky will disappear by dusk because it is rapidly shrinking. To travel back into the future, the survivors must act quickly to fix the plane. When they learn about a startling discovery, Gavin, Rebecca, and Izzy are still in the settlement's present incarnation. Levi's airplane debris was discovered underground, where it had not previously been. Additionally, the plane is surrounded by dead bodies. This indicates that the party will soon attempt to fly it home but will perish in the process. Gavin needs to communicate with them in some way to ask them not to fly the plane in order to save their lives. They are suddenly detained by a squad of troops under Adam's command for conducting the search unlawfully. They won't be able to fly into the sinkhole to save their family because the High Command has planned to stop any rescue efforts. Later, Sophie succeeds in freeing Gavin and Diana from custody. Before they are discovered and detained once more, they must board the aircraft and take off. Levi is continuously attempting to fix the radio in order to connect with the future in the meanwhile. Unexpectedly, he receives a response from a person who is similarly trapped in Santa Monica. In the hopes of finding out how to return home, Levi and Eve set out to find the person. Since they don't have much time until the ripple vanishes, Tony's ability to fix a jeep is useful. The following morning, a woman holds a gun at them as they approach the beach. She says her name is Diana and that she was a part of the crew of the team who came here 3 years ago to explore a sinkhole after settling down. Furthermore, she has been eager to meet Sophia for the past 3 years and is Sophia's fiancée. Diana's partner was on her way to hunt for the debris when they crashed, and that's the dead body Levi and Eve discovered inside the civilization. Diana works as a mechanic as well, and their 3-year-old plane wreckage contains the spare parts Levi needs to repair his aircraft. They can now begin to believe that they will make it home before the wave vanishes. A little bit later, Lily awakens and informs Ty that their father also abducted Veronica. She wants her back and doesn't believe she is a nasty person. Ty acknowledges her worry and chooses to hunt for Veronica later. The group then chooses the names of those who will board the first flight after the plane has been repaired. Much to their mother's relief, Josh and Lucas are also chosen. Lucas needs to recover his stockpile before they leave, so Scott and he search the woods for the location of where he buried them. They search everywhere but can't find it, but they do find a chest with gold bricks. Since it is from the American Civil War, it implies that someone else from a different time has also found their way here, most likely through a ripple. A drone appears out of nowhere and lands a few miles distant. When they search the debris, they discover a note from Gavin warning them not to board Levi's jet because they have seen the future and it will crash. Eve and Mary Beth want to obey the rules, but the others are willing to take a chance since they are so anxious to get home. When they don't listen, Eve and Mary Beth take things further despite their best efforts to persuade them. At gunpoint, they seize Levi and Diana and forbid them from controlling the aircraft. Diana suddenly snaps and opens fire, igniting the gasoline tank of the aircraft. She is also shot by Mary Beth in vengeance. She is promptly carried to the camp, but the shooting kills her. The death and the destruction of the plane are attributed on Eve and Mary Beth, but Eve still has faith that her husband would save them. Ty discovers Veronica at her kidnapper's grave praying somewhere else. Though she makes a commitment to go back to the camp, when Ty isn't looking, she knocks him out and flees. If they go back home, Veronica is afraid she'll be detained for kidnapping Lily. Returning to the present, Adam and his group visit the air base in search of Gavin. Gavin and Rebecca depart in the direction of the sinkhole while Izzy and Sophie divert their attention. When Adam joins them on the radio and threatens to attack, they are just about to walk inside. Izzy chooses to cancel the mission since if Gavin dies, he will be the only one left in his life. Rebecca, on the other hand, is not ready to give up. She catches Gavin off guard by leaping from the aircraft and into the sinkhole. As the ripple vanishes, everyone looks up at the sky, realizing they are trapped. Scott hands them the gold bars when they start to lose faith. He believes that since they are from the 1800s, there are more ripples in the earth, and they only need to locate them in order to travel back in time. People feel a little better after everything that occurred as a result. Mary Beth is asked to surrender the gun the following morning since no one in the camp feels safe in the wake of Diana's passing. In addition, the populace gets angry and decides to drive Eve and Mary Beth out of the camp. Josh and Lucas, who are both enraged with their mothers for what they done, both vote in favor of the banishment. Gavin is in the meantime detained once more and forced to sign an NDA. He is now forbidden from ever discussing the sinkhole and the survivors with anyone without suffering a penalty. The top command has decided to spare him this time even though the punishment could have been severe. Gavin then runs into Sophie and tells her that Rebecca had urged him to remember the day it all began, November 6, 1988, before he jumped off. It was close to the time that Gavin's family adopted him. He believes that the visions are connected to his birth, thus he will learn the answers when he learns who his real family is. Sophie conducts some research on his behalf and learns the location of the church that turned him over to the CPS. Once there, they run with an elderly woman who has memories of Gavin. She admits that he wasn't strolling down the street alone himself when he was discovered, instead, he was accompanied by a 12-year-old girl. The church turned them over to CPS since they had no memory of anything, not even their own names. Gavin is surprised because he has no recollection of being with the girl. Sophie assumes the duty of determining the girl's current location. Ty, who is still hurt, is rescued in the past by a local named Para. She takes him to a cave where she patches his wound. The tribe that assaulted Eve and the others yesterday is also led by her. Ty learns from her that the locals are only afraid of the outsiders, they are not horrible people. Additionally, Para explains that the Sky people have been visiting their territory for a number of years, indicating that the ripple can occur at any time and in any location. The area is abruptly assaulted by a violent snowstorm. It is best for everyone to seek refuge because modern-day LA experiences multiple severe climate shifts during this era of the globe. Mary Beth and Eve are getting ready to leave the camp. Mary Beth suddenly notices a pole about to fall over a cave where Lucas is. Both of them are confined inside while attempting to save his life. Marbeth adores her son dearly and would sacrifice anything for him, despite the two of them not having the best of relationships. Outside, Eve and the others try to assist them, but if the stones are suddenly pushed, they could fall on the mother and son. Sam has the idea to use gunpowder to create an IED. They can then bring the two outside by detonating a portion of the wall. The group is prepared to take the risk even though they could end up wounded. A while later, they start the plan and tell Mary Beth and Lucas to keep as far away from the wall as they can. The strategy succeeds, and the two are eventually saved. Eve and Mary Beth are permitted to stay in the camp because the survivors recognize her value to the community. After the storm, Ty and Para also say goodbye to one another. Gavin and Sophie later learn that the girl he was discovered with as a child is named Ella. She's an artist and lives not far from them. When they go to see her, they discover that her gallery is vacant. The most recent construction Ella built, which is a stone handprint, surprises Gavin. Izzy runs into Sam's son Andrew at school somewhere else. The two get close because they both lost loved ones in the sinkhole. The camp's mushroom supply is decimated after the storm. In the future, there will likely be more of these storms, which will make life challenging for them. The gang will need to farm the land if they wish to survive. Lily warns everyone when she suddenly sees someone fleeing the camp. When they chase after the individual, they realize it is a young child, the same one who rescued Eve and Levi from the fort when they became stuck inside. He calls himself Isaiah and says he doesn't mean any harm. He is brought back to the camp, where a wound on his palm is dressed. Since Isaiah doesn't really have a friend back home, Lily and Isaiah become friends. Eve advises that they return the child to his tribe and keep up a cordial relationship with them. They can then pick up farming and house-building skills from the locals. On the jeep, she, Levi, Isaiah, and Ty travel to the fort. The child says that he has been keeping an eye on them ever since they arrived as they go. He witnessed Eve's fall, her reunion with her son, and all other events. He was able to tell they weren't nasty people because of this when they were confined inside the fort. Isaiah claims that it was instinctual for him to keep an eye on them at this period and that he did so to make sure they weren't in danger. Their jeep is abruptly encircled by several Native Americans. They present them to the tribe and to Para, their chief. Silas, Isaiah's grandfather, is furious that his son was in danger. However, Para is grateful when she learns that they were caring for him. Eve requests that the tribe instruct her group in building, farming, and hunting. Para supports her desire to keep a peaceful relationship with the tribe. She demonstrates the property and makes a promise to send some personnel to instruct them in crop cultivation. The first discernible ripple appeared around 60 years ago, and those who arrived were violent, says Para. The tribe and them got into a battle that resulted in numerous fatalities. They ultimately fused, sharing a common culture and linguistic heritage. Para wishes to keep a cordial connection with the group because of this. Levi seems to be concerned about something the entire time the three join the tribe for lunch. It turns out that he believes Silas to be the assassin responsible for the deaths of campers. So he goes to examine Silas's chamber when no one is around. Veronica is discovered trying to entice Lily away within the camp. Sam pulls her into a car and binds her to the wheel as she refuses to cooperate. She is allowed to rest outside the car after having trouble breathing a few hours later. Meanwhile, Levi discovers the deceased man's identification card. He yells at Silas in front of everyone out of hatred. In his defense, the man claims that the person was already deceased when he arrived. This is confirmed by Para, who also discovered a similar dead body in the woods. Suddenly, they receive word that Isaiah has been taken hostage. To cover more ground, everyone scatters and splits into groups of 2. Silas ultimately discovers Rebecca herself removing his grandson. He wants her to hand Isaiah back and claims to somehow know her name. Rebecca is adamant that the child must fulfill his life's purpose. Silas appears to comprehend what she is describing, yet he nevertheless stabs her and takes Isaiah away. Eve and Levi find her hurt and bring her to the tribe in an effort to save her life. Silas wants the 2 of them to flee from human society, therefore Isaiah is with him. The young boy is in disbelief as Rebecca revealed that he is actually Gavin and hails from the future. In the future, Ella has been avoiding Gavin, Sophie, and Izzy, but they find her address and proceed to meet her. In her backyard, they discover a hidden sinkhole. Gavin suddenly experiences a vision from Isaiah's viewpoint. Gavin also has a scar on his hand from the wound that Isaiah suffered. This implies that Gavin and Isaiah are the